Hi folks, hope you are doing well. I'm your instructor Rajesh Durbala and welcome to Rajesh Durbala Tutorials. In this session, we are going to cover this concept of brand management and decisions. Hope you would like it, you would find it interesting and informative. Let's get ahead, let's get started and see what's in store for today. So, if I ask you a question, what would you prefer? A good product or service plus a good brand? Or you would require a good product or service plus a great brand? What would you look for? Most of you obviously would go for option B, right? You would require a good product or a service, but it has to be associated with a great brand. Reason, what could be the reason? The reason could be multiple, okay? It could be like you may get the sense of satisfaction, the sense of pride, okay? That is associated with a great brand. So the point is, even if you get a good product or a service, a great brand, when it gets associated with that product or a service, it makes it outstanding, right? You would be different from the rest of the crowd. So that's the power of a brand. And to see further what a brand can do and what is branding, let us try to understand. Like a brand is just brand is just to create an identity. Originally, the concept of branding emerged from animal husbandry or cattle, where they used some iron seals to put a logo or the animal, the cattle. They used to be embossed using a hot seal in order to identify their cattle. So that was the origin of branding, the concept of branding. Likewise, in order to differentiate the products from the competitors' offerings, companies have also started doing this concept of branding, and the entire idea behind this is to create that identity. And to create that identity, they can use any of these, some of these, all of these, whichever way they want. And they could be like logo. A logo can differentiate, obviously. Same way, a trademark, a slogan, a name, term, symbol, jingle, whatever you can. All these are used just to differentiate and create that identity for your product, goods or services, right? Now, what does brand mean to a common person? Now, these were two products, okay? Two brands, in fact, Coke versus Pepsi. Now, in a blind taste, what happened? People around 51%, they preferred the Pepsi sample, 47% they preferred the Coke sample, and there were 2%, there was no preference, okay? And in identified taste, the preference for Pepsi went down drastically, where 23% people, they preferred Pepsi, 65% of the people preferred Coke, and there were 12% who did not have any preference. Okay, so you can see the drastic fall in the percentage of people who preferred Pepsi, and you can see the increment in the preference for Coke. That is the power of brand, how the brand can tilt the preference of the consumer. Now, what do top brands do? Okay, what makes them unique? What are the things that they do in order to make themselves unique? Number one, they connect with the consumer. They are constantly in touch with the consumer. They create that connect, they create that engagement with the customer, that bond with the customer. The customer loves the brand. Okay, so the top brands, they connect with the consumer. And then number two is building consumer community. For instance, let us say the Harley owners group, HOG, right? They build a community, and the owners of Harley, they take the pride in owning and riding a Harley. Same way, society as a stakeholder. All these brands, they owe to the society. They become responsible. They behave like responsible citizens, and they are, they consider the society as an important stakeholder for their business. So they would hardly do anything which would be detrimental to the society. So most of these big brands, the top brands, they want to, or they strive to create sustainable business models. And then the fourth one, innovations. They keep on innovating, innovate or die. That's the logo, that's the concept, right? Tesla, for example, Apple, for example, Google, okay? All these companies, the top brands, you see, they keep on innovating. The 3M company, they keep on innovating. All these companies are known for their innovations. Then consistent brand value. The value of the brand is consistent. It's not like someday it picks up, someday it dips. They maintain a consistent brand value. And the perceived competitive differentiation. They stand apart from the crowd. They never, look or aspire to mingle with the competition. They try to stand apart. They create a league for themselves. And the consistency in communication. They communicate in a uniform manner throughout all the channels and across all seasons. Top brands do not maintain a seasonal communication. Their communication is consistent throughout the year, whichever the season is. Now, what does brand equity stand for? Now, when we talk about brand equity, we need to know the brand's assets, and the brand's assets can be categorized in these 5 groups. Okay, one, we say brand loyalty. Okay, how much loyal the base of customers is towards the brand. Second is the brand name awareness. How many people in the market know my brand? Okay, need not be my consumers, need not be my users. They should be aware of my brand. The more awareness about my brand, it's a big asset, because today or tomorrow they would definitely aspire to use my brand. And brand's perceived quality, right? That's one very major asset for the company. Because when I talk about the perceived quality, that's the image that people have in their minds, that a brand stands synonymous towards quality. For instance, let us say Godrej. All of us, probably if you just look into your homes, you would definitely find a Godrej lock, which could be decades old. It has been coming from your generations. So Godrej stands for strength, reliability, right? So that is the brand's perceived quality. Same way, next, fourth one, that's the fourth asset group. That is brand association in addition to the perceived quality. What associations, what images does the brand evoke in your mind when you think of a brand? Okay, so that also is important. When the associations, what people associate your brand to be with. Okay, the images they have, the personality they think about your brand, all such associations are also an asset for your company or your brand. And other proprietary brand assets like your patents, your trademarks, your channel, your relationships, etc. Okay, all these are also your brand assets. Moreover, you can also include something like brand experience. Okay, how old is your brand? Okay, what was the experience with your brand? What kind of experience people have in their minds when it comes to your brand? All these form the assets of your brand. Then brand valuation. How do we evaluate the brand? Now the brand value is a function of, okay, that is to say it depends on the customer's perception of attitude towards your brand and the economic value or the price he or she attaches to the brand. Okay, the kind of image I have in my mind about a brand and how much of money am I willing to pay for that image that I have in my brand, that is what is brand valuation. Okay, for instance, simple, if I buy an ordinary shirt and if I'm buying a Louis Philippe, the ordinary shirt can come for anything around 700 to 1000 rupees. But if I'm buying a Louis Philippe shirt, it could come for around 3000 to 4000 rupees. Now the point is both are shirts, but I'm willing to pay that extra 2000 or 3000 for that brand of Louis Philippe, right? So that's what is the brand valuation. Going ahead. Now, what are the various approaches of brand valuation? How do I evaluate the brand? What could be the various approaches? The first one is the price premium that a name or brand supports in a competitive market. As I gave you the example of the shirt, that's what I'm willing to pay, that premium 2000 or 3000 for a shirt from Louis Philippe. So that is what one way of evaluating the brand. Then number two, the impact of the name or symbol on the customer's preference. The moment, for instance, let us say I go to a shop just to buy a mobile phone, I see a lot of mobile phones and suddenly my eyes fall upon an iPhone. The moment I see the iPhone, I neglect rest of the brands and I just focus on iPhone and intend to buy that iPhone. Now the point is, iPhone was capable enough to shift my preference from other brands to iPhone. So that's what the impact that Apple, the iPhone, has created on my preference. Then the replacement value, that is to say, what it will cost to replace the existing brand. So if I have to kill this brand or if I have to replace it with any other brand, so what would be the cost that the company may incur? That also is an approach towards brand valuation. And the fourth one, the stock or market price of the firm's shares. That's a quite obvious way to evaluate, right? And then the earning power of the brand. You could see the Kingfisher as a brand, it was mortgaged for some millions of dollars, right? So that with the earning power of a brand, that is what is another way of valuating a brand. Then comes to brand awareness. Now, what is brand awareness? That is to say, the ability of a potential buyer to recognize or recall that the brand is a part of a category, of a product category. Now, the moment I think of Rin, what comes to my mind? Am I able to recognize or recall that it's a detergent category? If yes, that is what is brand awareness. The moment I think of Sunsilk, if it helps me evoke the idea that it's from a shampoo category, that is brand awareness. The moment I think of Colgate, if I'm able to recall or recognize that it's from a toothpaste category, then it is what is brand awareness. Now, if we have to understand the brand awareness, okay, we can easily understand through this framework. Now, just see, okay, when it's at the top of mind awareness, okay, when the brand equity is high and the awareness of the brand is high, that is, people are able to recall or associate it with the product category, then we say it's at the top of mind awareness, okay. And then when it is vulnerable, okay, when the brand equity is vulnerable and the awareness of the brand becomes a bit low, it starts falling, then it's just brand recall, okay. I'm able to recognize, I'm able to recall, okay, but my awareness is not that high. Then we say that there is vulnerable equity, that is, the assets of the brand are falling short, the awareness of the people may be falling short. And then you have this diffused equity, okay, where people recognize the brand. It's like, I know this, I've seen it somewhere, okay, but I'm not able to recognize or recall exactly which product category it is from. That is what is brand recognition, and it leads to diffused brand equity. And when people are not at all aware of a brand, okay, and the awareness is almost negligible, then the brand doesn't, it doesn't command any equity. It has no equity at all. Fine. So this is a very simple framework to understand. So you say you have a high brand equity, you have vulnerable equity, diffused equity, or no equity. When it's high equity, the product or a brand is at the top of your mind recall. The moment I think of a car, Maruti comes to my mind. I know this is one of the most economic automobile. So high brand equity, okay, and the awareness is also high, okay. As we go down, vulnerable equity, immediately what happens? I recall, yes, it does exist, but I'm not very, the moment I think of Nissan, okay, I know Nissan, but exactly which brand, which model of Nissan, I'm not very clear about it. So that's what is vulnerable equity. So there is a threat that the equity of the brand can be lost very soon. Then you have this diffused equity. I recognize this brand. This is how people, I know, I have seen it somewhere. I'm not able to point my finger that exactly what it is. Okay, so that is what is diffused equity. People start getting confused what it is. Okay, so for instance, let us say Mazda. I know I have heard of Mazda somewhere. Okay, but I'm not able to recall. Is it a, let us say, is it a fruit drink brand or is it an automobile? I'm not sure. That is what is diffused equity. Okay, and then when there is no equity at all. Okay, there could be a lot of brands like that where people don't know exactly what it is. Okay, so that is what is no equity at all. Now then, the steps for creating high awareness. Okay, Aker has suggested the following communication tasks. Okay, these are certain things which are recommended to create high awareness. One is be different and memorable. People should, you should stand apart and people should be able to remember you, right? Like Google, Ola, Oyo. Okay, all these sound very different and it's very easy to remember them also. So that's how. Okay, and then involve a slogan or jingle. The moment I say ting ting ting, then what happens? Immediately I recall, Shad, this is Britannia, right? So this is what is involve a slogan or a jingle. Then expose the brand symbols. Probably if you recall, when you bought a Geo SIM card, they must have given you a lot of stickers of Geo. What did they do? What were they trying to do? They gave you all those stickers so that you can stick it to your laptops or your phone or anywhere. And what are they doing? They are exposing their brand symbols, right? You are becoming their brand ambassador. You are doing publicity for their brand symbol, right? So this is how you can expose the brand symbols. Now get into the press as a news item or publicize the brand. Now, for instance, recently you must have seen that Geo Glass was launched. Now they were there. It was a very big event, a very big PR exercise. A lot of news channels covered it. A lot of newspapers covered it. Now what is happening is they are creating that publicity for the brand. When you are covered as a news item, that leads to credibility for your brand. And then sponsor major events. All these time I hardly knew anything about Dream 11, but after IPL I know exactly what is Dream 11. Okay, I have even installed that Dream 11 in my phone. So see the impact of sponsoring a major event like IPL. Then consider extending brand to other products. Now when you are extending your brand to other products, what is happening is you are increasing that awareness levels, you are increasing the touch points, you are bringing in more customers under your fold. For instance, let us say Dove. Dove was originally a soap. Then they thought, okay, why just a soap? Let's make a shampoo. Then you have a Dove shampoo. Then after Dove shampoo, they started wondering, like, why just a shampoo? Why not a conditioner? Now you have a Dove conditioner. Okay. Then again, then they see, when people know me, recognize me for my moisturizing effect, why not bring in a skin moisturizer altogether, right? So then they go into moisturizer. So what are they doing? They are just extending their brand into various products and various other product categories. So with this, what happens? It creates a lot of awareness about your brand, because probably I may not be using a Dove soap, but I may think of using a Dove body moisturizer, right? So this way what happens? Now I become aware of Dove. Then next is use cues of either the product class, the brand, or both. Now you need to give that hint when you are using that brand. You need to give a hint of what product class does your brand represents. Okay, if you don't do that, people may get confused exactly what you stand for. So it's very important that you need to communicate this also, that which product class, which brand, okay, do you stand for. When you have to say like Rin, you have to mention that it's a detergent. Okay, when you mention Maggi, you have to mention it's an instant noodle or maybe Maggi ketchup. So you need to mention that product class so that it builds in more awareness. And finally, repeat yourself consistently and constantly. Keep on doing all these things again and again, repeatedly. So it builds in that image and creates that awareness, higher and deeper awareness. Now, how do you build your brand? Okay, what is the process behind it? First, analysis of the brand environment. Okay, just see in what kind of environment you are operating, what kind of customer, what kind of competitors, what is the environment, okay, what is your target segment. Keep an eye on all these. Then set the brand vision. You need to have a vision for the brand. Okay, what does your brand stand for? Your brand stands for, like, it should be a socially responsible brand like the Tatas, Okay, or should it be a profit oriented brand, or should it be a brand which talks about innovation? Should it be a brand which talks about commitment? So what is the vision of your brand? What does your brand stand for? Okay, and then determine the brand values. What are the core principles, core values that your brand represent? Are we a socially responsible company or a brand? Okay, what do we represent? So what are the values? What are the core values that you stand for? Then you define your objectives. Okay, what are the goals that you wish to achieve? Let us say the objective could be market share, sales, okay, anything of this sort. So define your objectives. Then crafting appropriate brand strategy. You need to have a very clearly defined brand strategy. How do you want to build your brand? What should be the PR? What should be the advertising? What should be the other communication tools? What should be your IMC process? So you have to create an appropriate branding strategy for the entire brand, and then develop an effective implementation plan. Just having a strategy doesn't work. You need to have a proper implementation of the same. So that's the, that could be the final thing, that a good implementation can take you anywhere, but if the entire strategy is implemented in a wrong way or in a faulty way, it can jeopardize the entire efforts. Then you have several archetypes, okay, brand archetypes. That is to say, these are the various archetypes: the sage, the innocent, the hero, the regular. So what we are trying to do is we associate a personality with every brand. Okay, this was proposed by Carl Jung. He was a famous psychiatrist, and in his theory he mentioned that there are 12 archetypes. Okay, and let us try to understand what each archetype stands for, and what is, with some examples also. Now you have something like the innocent. Okay, now these exhibit happiness, goodness, optimism, safety, romance, and youth. Okay, some examples could be like Coca-Cola, Nintendo, V, okay, Dove. These talk about that goodness, happiness, all those things. So this stands for the archetype of the innocent. Then you have this everyman. Okay, this everyman is, they seek connections, belongingness. They are gregarious, right? Some examples could be IKEA, Home Depot. They are for everyone. Okay. Then you have the hero. They are always on a mission. They want to change the world. They are bold, courageous, inspirational. They evoke that inspiration. You have these, Nike, just do it. Inspiration, right? Duracell, it just lasts long. It never ends. Okay, that sort of a thing. And then you have this BMW, the sheer driving pleasure. So they are all inspirational. Then you have the rebel. They keep questioning the authorities. Okay, now they are craving for that rebellion. Examples could be this Virgin. Okay, this Virgin, Richard Branson. He always pushes the limits. Now you have Harley Davidson, the diesel jeans. All these are the rebels. Then you have the explorer. They are just the wanderers, explorers. Okay, they are just seeking for that inspiration in thrill, travel, discovery, new experiences. Okay, some examples could be like the Jeep, the Red Bull. The Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, REI, recreational equipment. Okay, so all these, you have your Mahindra Thar. All these are examples of the explorer. Then you have the creator. Creator is that imaginative, inventive. Okay, they are driving towards building something new, some meaningful things. Examples could be Lego, Crayola, or Adobe. Then some brands belong to the archetype like the ruler. They want to create that order. They want to create, order from chaos. And they are stern but responsible, organized. Examples could be your Mercedes, the British Airways, Microsoft. And then the magician. Magician wants to craft something magical, something dreamy. Okay, it's something like a dream. So examples could be your Apple, Disney, Absolute Vodka. Then you have this lover that inspires love, passion, romance. All these things is the archetype of lover. Some examples could be the brand like Victoria's Secret, Chanel, okay, Haagen-Dazs, that ice cream company, okay. So these brands stand for that lover. They inspire love, passion. Then you have this caregiver. Caregiver just protects, nurtures, compassion, generous. Examples could be like Johnson and Johnson, okay, the Campbell soup, the UNICEF. All these talk about protecting, caring, nurturing, compassion. Then you have the jester that brings joy into the world with their humor, fun, irreverence. Okay, and they often make mischief also. Some examples could be like Old Spice. If you have seen those Old Spice ads, you would understand they always have that mischief in those ads. Okay, and then you have this cookie dough, Ben and Jerry's, M&M's. Okay, that's the Indian counterpart of those gems. Okay, all these are fun filled things. They want to bring joy into your life. Okay, I could add Kinder Joy as well, right? They are the jesters. Then you have the sage. The sage stands for helping the world. They have that wisdom, insight. They want to be the advisors to the world, like Google, the PBS, okay, and the public broadcasting systems, that is Philips. Okay, these are some brands which are the sage. Fine. So I hope you found this lecture to be useful and informative. If so, do like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to press the notification bell icon. Thank you for watching. Spread the good word. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Thank you.